James Weisman has been a disability rights attorney for more than 40 years and is the president and CEO of United Spinal Association in New York City. He says the Americans with Disabilities Act was needed.
Up until ADA, non-discrimination meant passive non-discrimination, right? You treat everybody the same way, and you haven't discriminated.
For example, he sued a major city's transit system in 1979 to make buses and subways accessible.
Their responsive pleading in their motion to dismiss our case was that they don't discriminate. They do not post signs that say no handicapped allowed, and they allow people, I'm not making this up by the way, they allow people to crawl up the stairs or down the stairs if they have. So how could they're treating everyone even-handedly?
James says even worse was their response when he sued them under a public buildings law at the same time, which required new or renovated buildings that were likely to be used by people with disabilities, including transportation terminals, to be accessible. The transit system argued,
it couldn't have meant the subway because it said buildings likely to be used by the handicapped. And since the subway is completely inaccessible, how could it possibly have meant that? So people were unashamed.
The reality is there is still a long ways to go when it comes to some of the aspects of making transportation in cities accessible, including at train stations. In one major city, only about a quarter of the train stations are accessible. In another court case James was involved in, there was a pool in a town that
wouldn't admit a wheelchair user who was a resident at the town pool, who happened to be a silver medalist in a Paralympic swimming event. So she probably swam better than almost everyone who used the pool. And they testified that disabled people would be dangerous to themselves and dangerous to everyone else in the public pool.
James was involved in helping to craft some of the policy for the actual ADA law because of his legal experience. He worked on the transportation and judiciary aspects.
For me, the ADA is the most important thing I've ever been involved with, and I was a small part of being involved with it. And I still felt like this is the best thing I've ever done, you know. It was 2 years of my life, and I developed relationships with people that I still have that we worked on ADA with.
James attended the ADA signing ceremony at the White House in 1990.
It's happening right in front of me. I'm going to watch this actually happen. And I kept looking around to see if everybody, is everyone glowing like I am? I felt like I was a foot off the ground. And President Bush signs the bill, and he goes to hand a pen to Reverend Harold Wilkie, who is a bilateral amputee at the shoulders, who had stepped up to take a pen. And in an incredibly adroit move, he grabs the pen with his foot and sticks it in I think he stuck it in his pocket. And it was Bush had this big smile on, and Wilkie had this big smile. And it was this little silly metaphor for me that stayed with me all these years. That's the idea, people can get it done. Just because you don't think it can be done doesn't mean it can't be done. And if a person with a disability says they can do something and you assume they can't, you're probably wrong.
Know your rights and responsibilities under the ADA. Connect with the Northeast ADA Center at northeastada.org.